Morning, everybody. It is 8:10 a.m. It is October 15th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday was Columbus Day, so the bond market was closed. Banks were closed, hence the low volume and the weird action in the markets. Um, that's what happened yesterday. We still made new all-time highs in the ES, SPY. So that's what happened yesterday. This morning we had a couple earnings come out. Some key earnings that came out this morning. Um, So some stocks are up this morning. All right. Um, what else is going on here? Today we have Fed speak, and hopefully we get back into some better volume. Now today, so far we have already better volume, right? So let's get into this. Let's get into this. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the preceding day. This is my edge. This is how I read the market. Okay, so it's all about structure, and that's what I use to base a lot of my analysis on is structure. Okay, and hopefully do this every day at 8:10 a.m. You have a cup of coffee, you have a cup of tea. I'll tell you what's going on, what happened yesterday, what's going on this morning, market news, leaders and laggards, what to look out for, economic calendar, maybe get into some upgrades and downgrades. And then we go into the daily charts, and then the main event, usually 8:30 a.m. I analyze the NQ and ES futures and make a game plan for the day, that long and short trade scenarios, okay? And then once the market opens, that's a whole new data you have to analyze, right? And I do make educational videos on my day trades, okay? There's trades I don't put up there, but the ones that I do put up there, I feel have a lot of educational value, and please check them out. All right, so you can follow me on X at Gonzo719. All right, I post my trades there, and I also post them on my YouTube Shorts and my Gonzo719 Trader on TikTok. All right, and of course, if you enjoy my content, please smash that like button. That would be much appreciated. Right, you can wait to the end. That would be fine as well. Okay, now let's get right into futures watch list here. Here we are. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what's going on in futures. All right. All right. Who's leading the pack today? 30-year bonds finally getting bought. Okay, that's going to send yields down. Okay, so dollar's up 0.21. Gold is up 0.05. Silver's up 0.03. Not a lot. Dow's pretty much flat. ES flat. Nasdaq's down 0.01 flat, pretty much. Russell is down slightly, down 0.10. Bitcoin is down 0.68. 10-year yield is down almost a percent. Okay, finally, maybe people taking some profits here, right? Let's see. Uh, Ether down 1.44%. The VIX is under 20. It's down 3.62%. Now, crude's the big loser today. Okay, crude's the big loser with demand. Demand being lowered for crude. Okay, and then some supply concerns in Iran. This is severely dropped. Okay, so we're down 4.24%, down 3.13, $3.13 a barrel. Okay, so we have to see what happens here with crude. Very, very important here. Now we could drop here, so we have to see what happens in crude. Okay, moving on to the Max 7 Plus. Let's see who's leading the pack. Apple. Apple is up 1.09%. Boeing has some type of equity deal going on, and they've been getting hammered. But remember what I talked about Boeing? They're getting hammered, right? A lot of negative stuff, not agreeing with their union. Then this delay of one of their airplanes. But now there's some kind of equity deal going on. So Boeing is up 1.15%. Let's look at Google's up 0.81. JP Morgan up 0.44. Tesla's up 0.25. All right, that's that. Let's get into some laggards here. Now, what I did see in the news is Biden's trying to curb some semis from going to China. So earlier, Nvidia was down a lot more. So Broadcom is down 0.17, Snowflake down 0.63, Nvidia is down 0.74, AMD down 0.99. Okay, Coinbase down 2.09% with the weakness, a little weakness in Bitcoin, but obviously that's obviously more weak than Bitcoin. Okay, moving on to the top sector stocks. Here we go. Goldman Sachs, I believe they reported earnings. Let's see here. Oh no, earnings on 10/15 today. Okay, so I saw earlier here, they obviously up 2.75%, right? Now, Morgan Stanley's up 0.18. Now, financials doing very good this morning, right? Home Depot up 0.43. McDonald's up 0.38. All right, those are the ones that are leading the pack here. Who's down? Johnson & Johnson did report earnings earlier and they beat. However, they are down 1.08%. And Chevron is a little bit of a better bath with Exxon with crude falling. Okay. Now, United Healthcare is set to report earnings this morning as well. So, whatever happened with United Healthcare, they are down 3.37%. Okay, that should take down other healthcare related stocks. Okay. Now, moving on to our swing trade list. Let's see here. Should be no surprise here with some things going on here. Now, Donald Trump stock is up 8.68%, 8.78 as we speak. Charles Schwab up 8.38%. I believe they reported. Maybe I don't know why it doesn't say earnings here, but anyway, Walgreen Boot Alliance reported. Markets liking their results, up 4.44%. American Airlines up 2.44. Carnival Cruise Lines up 2.23. Looks like some travel stocks. All right, Citibank reported earnings, I believe, up 2.12. So financials doing pretty good this morning. They're already at all-time highs. So financial sector. Bausch Health. Let's see here. Norwegian Cruise Lines. So Cruise Lines getting love. Bank of America up 1.84. I believe they reported as well. United Airlines. Okay, airlines getting love this morning. Banks getting love this morning. This is a semi. Marvel up 1.7%. Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. No, so it's cruise lines, airlines, and you got Taiwan Semiconductors up 1.07. Southwest Airlines, another airline, up 1%. Okay, those who are up this morning. Now, let's check out the laggards today. BABA. All right, so China stocks are down today. All right, down 3.64 is BABA. Now, the energy stocks, obviously going to go with crude. Devon Energy down 2.78. Occidental Petroleum down 2.73%. ConocoPhillips, these are all energy, down 2.26. More MPC, that's another energy-related stock, down 2. Valero, another energy-related. Tilray down 1.8. Las Vegas Sands, China. Enphase Solar 1.74 down. EOG, another energy. Humana, that's healthcare, down 1.59. Alcoa down 1.32. ARM Semi down 1.19. And the Win, another China casino, down 1.01. And for Solar down 0.96. Okay, those are some of the losers today. Some of the laggards. All right, moving on. Moving on. Let's see here. Let's go back to this and let's go to the guts. The sectors. Okay, let's go to those sectors. Leading the pack, financials. Not a surprise there. Okay, not a surprise. Followed by utilities. Okay, utilities. All right, so utilities kind of made a pullback. Now remember, rates are getting cut, right? Now some people talk about utilities. Some of them say that the data centers are going to be using power to power these data centers, and utility stocks get good dividends when you're cutting rates. Yield should fall, and they should get some love. So that's kind of probably why utility stocks are getting love. Okay, then followed by real estate. So right now you have financials, utilities, and real estate leading the pack this morning. Communications. All right, now let's see who's lagging. Semis only down 0.11. Healthcare with United Healthcare down 0.22. That United Healthcare should really hurt the Dow. Um, the Dow is up 0.01, but that should, because United Healthcare is the largest holding in the Dow. You'd have to see. People might buy the United Healthcare because of this. Who knows? Okay. Now, rounding out the bottom is energy down 2.48. Down 2.48. Okay. Let's see here. Let's move on. Okay. Let's move on to some economic calendar. All right. Now today we have New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, not known as a big mover at 8:30. And today we got Fed Daily speaking at 11:30, Fed Kugler at 1, Fed Bostic at 7. That's what's going on today. Not a big, not a big um, data day. Okay, Fed speak, but not a big data release day. Now, the earnings, the earnings. Real quick, we'll go to earnings. Give me one sec here. And let's see who reported this morning, right? So the earnings, Walgreens Boots Alliance, United Health Group, Citibank, Bank of America, Johnson & Johnson, Progressive Insurance, Charles Schwab, Goldman Sachs, PNC, State Street. Okay, those who reported this morning. Okay, that's reported this morning. Now, looking at news, looking at some news. Let's go to some news here and see what's going on. Goldman Sachs stock rose 3.4% after the investment bank beat third quarter expectations, with global banking and markets a key driver of the strong performance, generating quarterly net revenues of $8.55 billion. Here's Boeing news. Stock rose 0.8% after the aerospace giant entered a credit agreement worth $10 billion with a consortium of banks, but also filed a registration statement with the U.S. markets regulator that will allow it to raise up to $25 billion through an offering of various debt securities and classes of stock. There you go. Bank of America stock rose 2.5% after the second largest U.S. bank posted net profit per share that topped expectations. There you go. Even though Warren Buffett's been shedding Bank of America. Now, Walgreens Boots Alliance stock rose 6.3 after their pharmacy chain operator said on Tuesday it would shut 1,200 stores over the next 3 years, as it narrowly beat Wall Street's. There we go, shutting down stores, obviously, right? So, what else here? Exxon Mobil, Occidental Petroleum, and Chevron stocks fell over 2%, tracking sharp declines in crude prices as supply concerns eased after the media report said Israel is willing to not strike Iranian oil targets. I saw that yesterday in the news. So that's not going to tick up crude, right? Because if they're not going to strike oil, that's not going to have supply concerns, right? So, and then there was demand for crude. So very interesting. All right, now Trump media here. Stock rose 9%, continuing the previous session's sharp gains when more than 57 million shares exchanged hands in the busiest day for the stock since July 15th, the first trading day after an attempted assassination of the Republican president candidate. All right, now let's move over to some more news to see if there's anything else. All right, let's see. Boeing, we already know. J&J lists profits and sales forecast, beats Wall Street expectations, but they're down. Let's see here. Here's go. United Healthcare. United Health's medical costs surge in third quarter. Shares drop. United Healthcare reported a surge in third quarter medical costs as the company struggled with lower government payments in its insurance business and the persistently high demand for medical care, sending its shares lower. That's why United Healthcare is down. Okay. Now let's look at some other stuff here, if there's anything to note. Company on Monday. Microsoft says the company on Monday said that the vice president of Gen AI research, Sebastian Bubek, is leaving the company to join ChatGPT, maker of OpenAI. Interesting. Like I said, I'm only going to mention stuff I didn't mention. So it looks like ExxonMobil though got a price target raise from JP Morgan from 128 from 127. Okay, let's go into upgrades, downgrades. Let's refresh here. All right, so let's talk about some upgrades here this morning. Who got upgraded? Let's see, Duke Energy. Okay, Duke Energy utility stock from neutral to outperform. Okay, that's utilities. That's I think the largest holder, the second largest. I believe it's the largest holder in XLU. That's really it there. Let's go to downgrades. AIG. AIG is downgraded. Okay, from outperform to market perform. Who else? Boeing downgraded from a buy to a hold, even though they got that equity thing going on. What else here? Enphase. There's Enphase. The reason that they're down, downgraded. Enphase, right? That's solar energy. That's why for solar also is down in sympathy probably. Etsy downgraded to a sell. Etsy downgraded to a sell. What else here? That's it here. Now initiations. Look at those. Nothing really there that I want to speak of. Let's go price target changes. I don't see any target. Okay, these are not good today for price targets. That's not good for price targets. Okay. I think we can move on. Move on here to daily charts. Give me one sec. Let's see here. Give me one sec while I pull up. Why am I not? Oh, here we go. All right, let's go to that SPY. All right. So yesterday was kind of weird because of Columbus Day. Okay, just the market moved weird. There's almost different rules for days like that. I saw the internals were stronger, and sorry about that. Hold on a second. I didn't mean to click off that. Internals were stronger, and it just was weird how it was moving, and I was like, man, I literally could probably buy the open here and it will go up. That's what happened. I didn't do that. That's not how I trade. So we made all-time highs again. 585.27. Okay, where are we at now? 584. Let's call it 584.40. 584.40. We're by the close of yesterday. So right by the highs of yesterday. I mean, that's not bearish at all. It's kind of bullish actually. Let's look at futures together. There it is. Futures only went down here, and now it's kind of like opened here, pushed down to here, and now we're here. So you're holding in the upper 30 yesterday. You can't say anything but it's bullish. Okay, let's look at Qs. Let's look at Qs here. So Qs. We're looking at right here. Now, what do we do in the Qs, right? This is last week's highs, last week's lows. We broke up, right? Gapped up, and we held above last week's range. Okay. Now, interesting because it kind of started off real strong. He kind of like opened up and drove up here, and then the market just kind of like pulled back and then got bought up to here. Okay, where are we at now? 497. Let's call it 497.50. Right here. We're right at the close. So bullish. Holding above last week's range. Can't really say anything against that. Okay, can't say anything really against that. So let's look at futures. Yeah, see that? Now look, now this is probably because NVIDIA and the chip curb to China, why you got that wick, really nasty wick in the NASDAQ, because it came all the way back here, about to the midpoint of the range. Now you're getting buying excess here. Okay? So this still hasn't like destroyed the shorts here. This move was like muted kind of. And now look, it pulled back to last month's highs. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does here, okay? All right. Now, that is SPY in the Qs. Now, let's get over to triple headed monster. Finally getting some yields getting down here. Let's see here. Give me one sec. Boop. Let's get that 10-year yield up here. What are we doing here? Look at that. Look at that. Now see, look, it hit this resistance. Last week's highs, right? Hit last week's highs, right? Got a little wick right here. Now, this could definitely move back down to here. Let's see if this holds here. If it doesn't, you know, because this means basically people are buying the 10-year yield, and that would make sense. The rates are going to get lowered. Rate cuts are happening, okay? And this could be people finally taking profits from here. Okay. You shorted it, moved up to 4.4%. That's a good rate to lock in. And let's see if this now, because this is poor structure. This could definitely cascade. Have to see. You have to see. I don't know what's going to really happen here. Okay. You really just have to see. All right. Now, let's go to that second head. What is that? The dollar. And that dollar, look at that little double top here. Okay, hit the 100-day moving average. Now look to the left. See that resistance here? 103, that was resistance. That's kept the dollar in check. Now, do we move down to 102.71? I don't know. All right, I don't know. Look at that move, just like the 10-year yield. Poor structure here. If we come back here, we can really rip down. But we have to see. Could just travel in a range here. All right, now let's look at that VIX. Now the VIX was in the 20s. Okay, the VIX was in the 20s for a while. See, over the 20s now. Where are we at? 19.7. Still pretty decent. Like I said, I think we're gonna have a decent VIX until election. Okay. Now we went all the way up to 23. But still, remember, this is 30 days out of fear. So now the election is less than 30 days away. I feel like we're going to be in this area because your all-time highs in the VIX is at 19. That usually is not the case. Okay, that's usually not the case. Remember, 16 VIX is a 1% expected move plus or minus in the S&P 500. Okay, 1% expected move in the S&P 500. So we'll have to see what goes on there. All right. That wraps up the triple-headed monster. All right, now let's move on to the main event. And that would be the ES. All right. Okay. Let's look at structure. Let's get my trusty marker out. All right. Oh, that's an ugly looking profile. All right, so this is our profile. Little excess here. Then you got value area all in here. That's value area. 70% of the trading volume the last week, and then you have yesterday and last the overnight session. Okay, so we know from this balance, the market brought the most traded price of the week up. Now it's trying to bring it back up, bring it up to 59.08. Okay, if it keeps doing that, it's just bullish. Okay, if it keeps doing that, it's just bullish. There's yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows, overnight session high and low inside yesterday's session. Here's the most traded price of yesterday, and you're right there. It's just market is accepting these higher prices. The market is accepting the higher prices. Okay? So, we just have to see what happens here. Now, you do have a little poor low here, which is pretty much a 30-minute bar double bottom here. Okay, you got to watch that. All right. And just trying to see, what did we do yesterday? You can see right here, we have single prints. Okay. We didn't fill the gap yesterday. So we opened here. That was the only short activity. Okay. And then we pushed up, right? Made a high, came down, and then kind of closed back up here. So ain't nothing bearish about that session yesterday. Nothing bearish about it at all. Okay. So what can we talk about here today, right? Now we have single prints. Okay. That's weak structure. And we're trying to move the most traded price of the week higher. Okay. Higher. So you had a breakout of this little bounce, and then you kind of had another move yesterday. So it's all about, can we accept higher prices? That's all it's about. Okay. So today, what's it going to be about? Okay, so you have this poor low here, right here. Okay. Now we do have the POC, which is the point of control. That's the most time spent at 58.98 here. Kind of lines up with this double bottom right here, 59.02. So this area you want to see defended by bulls. Okay, you might correct this a little bit and then make a decision here. Now, what else do you have here? You have the week-to-date VWAP right here. It's kind of sitting right in this area as well. Okay, so I'll be watching that. All right. Also, we have value area low at 58.891 right here. And we single prints. Okay. Now, these single prints in a weak market get cut through like a hot knife through butter. That's when LFI comes out, right? However, we're talking about if they are supportive right here, boop, we might just come up here, go like this, and do this. Okay? That's what I'm kind of looking at here. Now, you can see it's kind of flattish profile up here. So if I break out, and these are just 30-minute bars, that's all it is. It's nothing special, right? You can see this resistance here at the supply zone at around 59.15 right there. It's pretty nice flat top there, which means it could need to be corrected. You can see the double bottom here in the overnight right here that could be corrected. So corrected just means it gets broken. Okay. That's what I'm really looking at today. So you stay in value and you create value up here. I'm not saying we move to the skies. Remember, we don't, this is supply. It's the only supply now that's there. So we just really have to see. Okay. You really have to see what's going to happen here. Okay. I'm hoping to finally get some more normal movement today in the market, because you could tell yesterday it was weird. All right. It was just very weird. All right. I think we get into scenarios today, right now. Let's do it. Let's do it. And actually, we didn't even, this is volume. Oops, sorry. Well, first, we introduced that. We just went over the market profile, volume profile, ES, and NASDAQ will follow after this. Okay, so let's get into scenarios here. All right. Who's with me today? Do I have anybody with me today? Anybody blessing their presence with me today? No pancake today, huh? Maybe G-Man, K-Trader, Rosita, Mohammed, Luis, G-Man. Think I'm by myself? Maybe I'm by myself today. That's okay. That's all right. Just happens no matter what, right? It's part of my process. So let's get into the bull case. Let's get into the bull case. All right, here we go. So what I want to see here today, you got that little poor low here, 59.02. So from 59.02 to about, I would say 58.91 is the area I want to see defended by the bulls. Okay, we got the most traded price we're at right now, because this, I don't want this corrected right here. This 59.15, it's kind of a weakish, it's kind of a poor high in the overnight, which looks like it wants to get broken. Okay, so what I would like, push up, push down into this area. You got week to date VWAP here as well. Anywhere in this area, get a higher low, higher low. I want to get long, and I want to be able to break through that supply, and who knows where we go. Maybe we go to 59.40. I don't know. That would be a nice long. Okay, now one other scenario I could see happening, it would be a little bear trap. Now, if we went like this, came in and like, oh my God, this is value area low, right? 70% of trading volume in that area. And let's say we just touched these singles and we found support, that's bullish. That would also do this. You shouldn't find support in single prints. That's a tip. Okay. Now remember, the market is weak. It should cut through. We'll go through that in a second. Let's go through the bear scenario. All right. Now, like I said, we do have like a very, very poor high here as well. That profile doesn't really have excess. All right. So what I'm thinking, right? Remember, this area is bull defense. Right. Now this got supply here. So I think this could be a possible bull trap here. Like I said, if the market's strong, I am not going to really look to short. So, but we got to give the scenarios, right? So right here is supply. What I can see happening is we come up, boop, push through, touch yesterday's highs, 50, what is that, 59.18. If we come through the open, lower high, this is your shot. We're probably going to test that weak low. Okay? You're probably going to test the weak low. Or the poor low, I'm sorry, at 59.01. If you crack that, you're probably going down to this area, 58.91, and the single prints. Now, if you're weak, you should cut through this, and you go right to yesterday's lows, and you try to fill that gap. There's demand here. This could be the end of that trade. Okay, you got the most traded price of the week here at 58.60. Right? If you cut through that, well, we can go down to 58.30. Okay? Now remember, like I said, if the market is strong in internals, I'm not really going to be interested. I'm just not. It doesn't make sense. It just never goes well when it's strong internals and I'm like shorting all time. I just really, it's kind of a fool's errand a lot of times. All right. So, all right. I think we're ready for the NASDAQ. I think we're ready for the NASDAQ. All right. Let's do the NASDAQ. Let's see structurally if it's different. Okay. Let's see structurally if it's different. Now, so we got to talk about what happened yesterday, and we'll talk about the profile first. Okay, so let's look at the NASDAQ. Here's the profile. So here's the move yesterday. You got some gap here that sets that little pocket. Then we have value area, right? Most traded price of the week still at 204.40. 204.40 right here. Okay. Now price is here, right? You have your yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. Okay, we have a gap we did not fill underneath yesterday. Now, there was a big unfilled gap yesterday. We almost filled it. Still has a little bit to go. Okay. Now, overnight is inside yesterday's session. Inside yesterday's session. We're at the, let's check this out. This is the midpoint of the overnight. This is the midpoint of yesterday. Oof. You're in the middle. You're in the middle of the middle. You're in the middle of overnight, in the middle of yesterday's session. Ugh. Horrible trade location. That is something I'm just like, ugh. That is a yucky, yucky trade location. I don't like that. Okay. Now we do have demand here. All right. Now we do have some levels I'm already seeing that are very, very easy to look at. Very, very easy. Okay. Let's look at them. We have a weak low. Why? Overnight low 205.63. In the value area low, 70% of the trade in this area is value area. That's 70% of yesterday's trading volume was in that area. That's the meat of yesterday's trading sessions, right? So if you break that, you should get some follow through, but let's see, right? 205.74 to 205.63, right there is a weak low. Now, bulls need to defend that low. Sellers want to break it, okay? So it's all about the overnight session today in the NASDAQ. Now look at the overnight highs, 206.41. Where does that line up with? A value area high and the most traded price of yesterday. So it's all about overnight, okay? Sellers want to defend this, buyers want to defend this. If they get broken, obviously that's a different story, but it's all about, and then you have supply and demand here. So it's really all about that. What happens at those levels, okay? And then what if we break those levels? Can we start forming a new balance range? Possibly, right? Possibly. Okay, because here's that move yesterday. Nice big move. Opened up. You really drove in the NASDAQ. And then it really came all the way back. All the way back. Almost filled the gap. It didn't, though. Okay. So, I think we're ready for some scenarios. Some scenarios. And let's check it out. Okay, let's check it out. All right, let's get into it. And we'll start off with the bull. Okay. Now, we talked about that weak low, 205.63, right here with this demand zone. So this is the area, this area actually, that I want to see defended from the bulls, right? This is what I want to see. Can we bring value up here? We can if we hold this, right? So in a bullish case, we can come up with supply, we can push down right into here, and let's see if we hold it, and then look, we have to break this. Remember this weak high, 206.41? If you break that and this supply, you're probably going to fill this gap and try to move up to this supply at 207.50. Remember, NASDAQ's been relatively weak. It has not hit its all-time highs again. Is this the day where the NASDAQ starts to get some push? Okay? Where it starts to get some push. I don't know. I don't know. Right? All right, that's one. That's one. That's kind of probably my ultimate. Now, what else can happen, right? We could come down here, and there's a demand zone right here in this gap. Okay? We might fill the gap, might not fill the gap, but we can come down here, and this is still bullish if the market's not that weak, right? And we can move up, and possibly, maybe we don't go up that high. Maybe we just fill the gap and kind of hang out here. That's what I'm seeing from the long side, okay? Now, from the short side, like I said, if the market internals are strong, I'm not really going to look to short. But what do we got to look at here? We got that weak high at 206.41 in this supply. So you want sellers to step up here. Remember, we've got the weak low here, right? So now we reverse it. I can see us pushing up. If we can't find acceptance around yesterday's most traded price and we start to reject, come through this most traded price of the overnight, we're going to test this weak low in this demand zone, right? If we crush that, we're going to find ourselves into yesterday's lows, into a demand. Maybe we fill the gap, but what if we break and we hold and find acceptance? We are going back to the most traded price of the week, which is 204.40. 204.40. Okay? So, and then let's talk about it. If this market gets weak and we push, break that demand and hold and find acceptance here, then we move down again. Okay, we move down again and we can maybe hit 202.50 as a high volume node. But like I said, We're right now in bullish structure, but I have to put these in my game plan. I have to put these in my game plan. Okay? That will do it, folks. That will do it. Okay. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. Of course, join me every day, 10 a.m. and subscribe. All right? Subscribe, set an alert, and smash that like button if you enjoyed the content. Okay? Like I said, I post my trades on X, on TikTok, and my YouTube Shorts, and my Instagram, but that doesn't get much love. I don't even put it up there because there's not a lot of traders on there. But there's my X at Gonzo719, okay? And there's my TikTok, Gonzo719 Trader. Like I said, I post day trade educational videos on there on why I take trades, right? We have our blueprint here, but when the market opens, there's data that I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know, okay? So that's a whole different thing, all right? So everybody have a great day. Hope everybody kills it today. Stay green. Remember, no trade is a trade. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.